Series. Only 5 more races left after this. 12 races in the whole series. This is number 7. We are doing London Classique. 6 laps for the A's, 5 for the B's, 4 for the C's, 4 for the D's. Right now we're watching the A's. They just went under the start-finish banner. They're going to do 6 laps. This is the lead-in. 41 riders here. Flat course. It's going to be nearly impossible for anyone to break away. I see Stefan Kirkmeyer. He's doubling up. He did the earlier race this morning. He was absolutely in the top 5. I don't know his exact position, but I think the winner of the earlier race is here also, and that was P. Sanjath. I saw his name on the registration list. I can't find him right now, but don't forget, this is a team race. Top 3 riders per team score. In the earlier race, there was 30 A's and nearly 28 of the 30 finished together in the same pack. So it's going to be extremely difficult for any moves to stick. It's so flat. This is one of the earliest race courses. Everyone knows it. There's one very, very slight incline for about 25 seconds. Outside of that, it's flat as a pancake. We're looking at 35 riders today, 35 in the front pack. This is the lead-in, and then they're going to do 6 laps. So we're looking at the A's right now. I see a lot of familiar faces. Andrew Gajda is here. Gavin Hughes, who we saw was in a breakaway, was out sprinted by Paul DeHaan last week. Here's PMAC. He's one of the original riders in the entire game. Here's Nick Hurd. We see him every week from Cryogen. Looking at the jerseys, I definitely see 3 TFC riders. I see 3 Kirkmeyer riders. I see it probably 6 Cryogen riders. So the numbers are there for all these teams. Joliffe, we saw him last week. He was that third rider to come in for Cryogen. That's what it's all about. Your first 2 score points, but your third is really the differentiator between how many overall team points you get and versus how many you don't. Here's Mergelas, another Kirkmeyer rider. So the Kirkmeyer team is here. The Cryogen team is here. BRT, I saw 3 on the BRT registration. That's great. Clicking back, not much is going to happen. They're going to make a right turn and then it's uphill. Before that, let me click the B's quickly because I saw a ton pre-registered. 74. That's a really, really big pack. We can see 3 pinks right in front of us and also 3 TFCs right there. I'm going to need to look through all these colors because we have so many. Here's my man Walt. This is my ride or die. We just happened to click on Walt. He set this whole system up for me. I couldn't have done it without Walt. Huge love to Walt. Let me click back up to the A's. They're going to kick up to this incline right now. You can see on the mini map in the top right, there's a right turn. That right turn is the first little hill. Like I said, it's a flat course, but here's the first little hill. I'm going to open up the comments right now. All right, so I got the comments open. Feel free to drop me a comment on Facebook. I'm watching. We are the 7th race. Like I said, the overall team points, actually, it is the C Cryogen team who is leading this entire race overall. So C Cryogen followed by the D Cryogens. And then it's going to be the A Kirkmeyer are going to be 4th. So in this A race, the team that's leading it is the Kirkmeyer Cycling KC in this striped black and yellow kit. So here they go. They're going uphill. You see a couple red numbers. Nothing too much. You don't need to make a break on this hill, but you just can't be dropped. That's what it's going to be. That's going to be the theme throughout this race. A breakaway is likely not going to stick. All that matters is that you're not dropped. Here's the 35th rider, Neufeld. He might be the first casualty in this race. Gosling, John Gosling, Kate plus 8 is there. Strung out, but I don't see any. Here's the Johnny Rocket. This is my rider. I always talk about him. People joke that he's my favorite, but I have a secret man crush on the Rocket. There's a small gap I see back here. Let me click back. There is a couple names. Henderson from Cryogen. And then Gavin Hughes looks perfectly in that draft, but behind him, here comes Henderson. And I don't think Gosling is going to be able to close that by himself because there's 31 riders flying around that U-turn. And this 3-second gap might seem like an eternity to him. So there they go. There's 31 riders. They're going to go under this. This red banner means 1K to go. So from here, it's going to be 1K to the finish line. In 6 laps, that's when it's really going to matter. But from now until then, it's just another feature of the course. So it's going to be 1K to the start finish line. That's when 6 laps will begin. I see someone just falling back. It's Mergelas. Let's give him a ride on. I don't know what's going on, but he's going 4.6, 5.0. He's trying to get back on. Maybe a dropout. 5.6. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. He's cranking out 70 RPMs, 500 watts, doing everything he can. He's got to close it right now. We're watching his avatar, but that 3 seconds is just so long alone. He might be able to do it right here because there's a little downhill. He might be able to carry some momentum. I just don't know. So that's 2 seconds. He's trying to catch Babbage. Babbage is that final wheel, and there's the Rocket. The Rocket's always comfortably in the back. His heart rate's 171. We've seen him in the 180s, approaching 190, so he looks very comfortable right here. Mergelas is still giving it everything he has, and Gosling has not given up, so this man might be able to pull Mergelas, Foley, and McEwen back. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So it was originally 31, and these 4 riders, they're going to be able to catch back on because this gap is so close. There are no power-ups. They just went under the banner. There are no power-ups in this race. So we see these 4 riders working together trying to catch back on. But in the meantime, we have a dense group of 31 riders. 3 cryogen in the front. I see 2 in this neon yellow kit. I wonder if there's another finesse teammate in here. Because I absolutely see Cryogen, TFC, Kirkmeyer, Finesse, BRT. All these teams are represented here today. And that's what it is. It's celebrating the community teams that are here. BRT, here are the 2 Power Tap jerseys, the BRT team. 2 of them looking comfortably in the back. 140 heart rate, 260 watts. Perfect right now. Oh, and here's Sanjath. He won the earlier race today, but it looks like he's not in the pack. He's doing everything he can, pushing out 6.3 to catch back on. I think he's going to be able to do it because he's just pounding and stomping those watts. His heart rate's getting high, 167. But if he's in that pack for the finish, he is the man to look out for because we saw him earlier with 1,500 watts, I think 2 races ago. And if these guys are smart, Jostling, McEwen, and Mergelas, they're going to see him coming up and they're going to grab his wheel. So let's see if these riders are attentive enough to hold his wheel once Sanjath goes by. There's Foley. He's going to make a break for it. He's cranking out 7. These guys are just giving everything he got. So those little 2 and 1 second gaps, those force you to work so hard for minutes at a time while everyone else is recovering. So sometimes those little marginal efforts just to get back in the pack, they yield exponential returns. Okay, so there they go. There's everyone. I saw the D's coming by. Let's check out the D's. Here's Thomas Ervik. We'll give him a ride on. My man Walt again. Oh, my neighbor is here. I saw... Oh, here's my neighbor. So I got my neighbor into riding, and this is absolutely, positively not my neighbor, but I think this was my stalker last week, so he must be stalking where I live, and he moved in next to me. So this is my ex-stalker, now turned neighbor. Andrew Robinson. Andrew, we just saw him. There's Mark Worthington. Give him a ride on. He's always there and always shows up. I think he's gotten top 5 every single race in the previous 6 races. So Mark Worthington is the guy. Here's my main man, Kieran McKenna. Huge shout out to Kieran. Looking good in the level 15 kit. Let's see how many are still here in this B race. There are just so many riders here in this B race. Probably close to 50 in this pack. I saw another name who I'm really familiar with. Here's Andrew Robinson. We've seen Andrew live. I say him every week. Love Andrew. Oh, Rob Martell is here. Rob Martell races with me personally every morning. So there's Rob, Ned Bowen. All these guys, they show up every single week. We have to give them major, major love. still working together. This morning, I did this race. The pace is manageable for all of these riders. However, it just gets a little more and more difficult throughout the race. So the pace isn't extraordinary. It's all about the timing of this one hill. If you can hold the draft in that pack, you can be there for the end. And then it's all about the end. It's going to be a 5-minute max effort. The people with the highest 1-minute power, the highest 15-second power are the ones that are really going to win. But outside of that, you have to stay in the draft because all of these riders can maintain that pack. So those are the Bs. Let's quickly check out the Cs. Again, the Bs are only doing 5 laps, not 6. Let's quickly see the Cs. Okay, so here's the front pack of the Cs. There's Eric Dickus. Let's give Eric a ride on. There's 54 Cs. This is the team that's leading the overall point series in this whole race, is this Cryogen C team. We saw a huge feud between the Cryogen and the TFC boys. So I think that's continuing throughout this ride. So last week, we saw, who was the rider we saw win? It was, let me see if I can check it quickly. Oh, it was Sebastian who won this C race. So I don't know if Sebastian is in here again. So the C's have whittled down significantly already. There's only 19 left of this 54, which means that lead-in must have been very, very spicy. Again, let's give these riders a ride on. I see tons of TFC jerseys. I see probably 5. I see tons of Cryogen jerseys, probably 6. Then I see a couple other one-off names, like I see a Vision rider, any other jerseys from these teams, one dirt rider. But that's basically, oh, here's the Portuguese team. So team-wise, it's still down to TFC and Cryogen in this C race. There's a couple one-off other riders here and there, but it's just really the only teams with 3 riders are TFC and Cryogen. All right, so let's move up back to the A's. They're probably cresting this hill right now. Clicking up, we're clicking up. Here's the B's, they're cranking out that hill. You could see how wide this pack is. That means no one's really going above and beyond this pace right now. All right, back up. Okay, so here are the A's. It looks like, I think there were 33, so all but 5 survived. Hall didn't quite make it. A couple TFC riders off the back, but if I find the Rocket, I know he's still there. Comfortably in 26th place. This is going to be lap 1. So outside of that one hill, there's not really many opportunities to make a move. You can finagle some sort of team tactics here and there, but this really isn't the course to do it. Still 3 Cryogen riders. The team celebration series is all about the 3. That's why I keep referring back to your 3 riders. Keep talking about the teams. Still the 2 BRT riders. I see a pink. That's Pat McCran, I think. I saw the new Endurance Nation jersey. It looks fire. Okay, and there they go. This is lap 1. Everyone's still together. Let's move back to the Bs. The Bs just went up that hill, and it looks like they dropped a couple, but not enough. Still 44 riders. Mark Worthington comfortably at 2.9, 214 watts. You're going to see a lot of these watts vary. So if we go to the front, the guys will be pushing like 3.8, 3.7, 3.5, 4.0. See, as we move to the front, the numbers get higher, but there's really no need to put that much power out, because in the back, here's Chris Adlington pushing out 3.2, and even as we go further back, there's 2.9, 2.5. So the strategery is so important. Why are some riders putting out 4.0 when others are in the back holding 2.9? There's a huge disparity between what people are putting out and what you need to put out. The effort is not going to yield any more returns in a flat course like this. Smartest B rider in this pack, I'm going to have to say, has to be Martel. He knows the sprint. I think he's won this exact course before. So we're looking for all caps Martel. He's the one to look out for. But Alex Clare, I talk about him every week. I didn't see his name yet. He's the one who's won, probably a 2-time champion in this race, is Alex Clare. If we see his name, I'll definitely point it out, but as of now, I don't see him. Yeah, I don't quite see him. And the other person who won, Daniel Larson, I think he was upgraded to A. So I saw Larson in the A's, and he won it last week, who went very early after that London loot box hill. So let me click back up to the A's. Okay, so here's Daniel Larson. He won the B's last week. He must have been upgraded, but he's looking very comfortable. 350 watts, 148 heart rate, looking good. This is just a slight little incline. Again, this is going to take about 50 minutes for these A riders. As you can see right in front of me, there goes Gavin Hughes with 13.2. He must have seen me click on his name exactly, because Gavin Hughes is making a move. This is a little uphill, and this is a spot where it actually could work. This is probably the best spot to make a move. Is anyone going to go? Stefan wants to make a move. Stefan's going. Sanjath is going. Andy Bav is going. All these guys are probably so antsy because nothing has happened that they want to make a breakaway. So Gavin Hughes is still 2 seconds, but no one's quite putting out 7 to make this move. Here goes Hair Raid Siren, who looks like he's caught the draft of Gavin Hughes, but he's backing off right now up to 4.4. I don't think that's enough. Let me click this Hair Raid Siren Rider. Pretty cool name. Oh, this is what's his face? Greg Leo. Okay, so this is Greg Leo, Hair Raid Siren. All right, so here's Stefan Kirkmeyer on the front. Where did Hair Raid Siren go? I don't see him right now. Okay, well, at least we know Greg Leo is in this race. I want to see what Greg Leo's max sprint is. I'm looking at 15.8, but someone click on Greg Leo's profile and let me know if he can out sprint Sanjath, who's in here, because that's going to be awesome to see. If those two riders are still in this main pack together, where is Sanjath? Because I really want to see this sprint duel. Well, at least Stefan Kirkmeyer is here, so we know Stefan can sprint. Oh, there's Sanjath. I just saw him. Okay, so Sanjath, Kirkmeyer, and Greg Leo in a head-to-head sprint. This is going to be awesome. I hope all of them are still together. Now I'm suddenly rooting for no break to happen. I'm actually rooting for a really, really quiet race until the absolute end. So these are some of the best sprinters in the whole game, and they're going to duke it out head-to-head. This is going to be 32 more minutes of some duking it out back and forth, but in the end, what we really want to see is this head-to-head sprint. It's going to be a lot of fun. Here is Sanjath. We're clicked on his name right now, and I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of red numbers, and then once they get to the top of this little incline, people are going to start backing off. So even Greg Leo up front is starting to back off at 4.5. No one's really gonna. Here's Pat McCran going at 1.6, so he's really, really slowing down. Everyone has the same feelings that this hill is all about staying in the pack and not losing anyone. All right, let's click the B's while they go up that hill. So the B's are gonna make a left turn, and then they're gonna go up that hill that we just saw, and that's the only feature of this course, is that one little hill. Okay, so here's Rob Martel. Let's give him a ride on. Let's let Rob know we're talking about him. He's in 30th place right now. Kieran McKenna. I know Kieran will make it in this pack, so we can stay on Kieran. Oh, Andy Robinson. Okay, comfortably in the back, Andy. So Chris Adlington is another one. He's not a familiar name in this PM race, but he always races the AM, and he's one of the best sprinters in the game. He's a closer, so he knows exactly how to time this race and exactly how to close. If I'm looking at the B's, I'm talking about Chris Adlington, I'm talking about Mark Worthington, I'm talking about Carl Copenhaver. Carl can sprint. All these guys can sprint at 13 plus, which is basically the top end of the B category. You're going to need a combination of 1 minute power and 15-second power to win this race in the end. So you can see Har is off the front now, but I believe he's going to back off quickly. And that's exactly what he does. He comes down to 3.0. If you're in the front, up these little features, up these little inclines, you don't really have to worry about catching on through the rest of the race. So let's just pick a rider. Here's my neighbor. No, let's click Pereira at 3.1 in the front. So because he was in the front, up that feature, up that incline, he doesn't have to then push out 4.4 like McKenna in the back. But McKenna's perfect. Let's pick a rider who just missed it, like right here, Vale from 3R. So Vale is doing everything he can just to hold that draft. However, if he just gave a little more up that hill, he wouldn't have had to do this for the extra minute. Here's Thomas Ervik. Thomas might have been the last person off the pack on that second climb in the second lap of 5. So there's Thomas. 39 riders, just about 40 riders in this B pack right now. So they are going to finish before the A's. So we're going to find them before the A's, but first are going to be the C's. The C's are only going to take about 41 minutes. But the B's are going to take 45 minutes. Okay, I'm just trying to find this front pack of the A's. It's tough because it's a circuit around and around, so it's really difficult to find, and Murgalas is not there. So we got to find the B's. All right, let me click back to me, and then I should be able to find this A pack. Okay, so here's the front A pack. Still around KC Cryo. You guys are being lazy. Okay, so I guess that's Greg Leo talking some shit right now. 4.0 in the back. Comfortably at 133 heart rate. Gavin Hughes, still the same, around 30-ish riders. Babbage, just taking a breather. His heart rate is 113. That's crazy low heart rate. That was just 2 laps of 6. Here's the Rocket. Heart rate down to 162, looking perfect for the Rocket. This is the course where the Rocket can excel. It's one of those courses that, like I said, you can stay in the back. You can remain fairly anonymous for the whole race, and then at the end, you can sort of unleash, and I think that's what the Rocket's going to do. I saw some red numbers, but I don't think anyone was really going. Here's Stefan, comfortably, 161 heart rate, a little higher than we're used to seeing Stefan. Joe Leaf, we see him every week. Big shout out to Joe Leaf, another Cryogen A rider. These are the A's. Again, this is race 7. So let me see what is the next race in this series. Let's quickly check. Okay, so this is race 7 on the London Classique. Next week is Watopia Hilly Reverse. And then following that, it's back to Richmond Flat. So next week, Hilly Reverse is going to be difficult because that one climb is going to be done 3 times for A and B and 2 times for the C and D. That's going to be tough. And then it's back to Richmond Flat, which is very, very similar to this with even less elevation gain. But it's going to be fun. So those are the next 2 races in the series. And then it's Park Perimeter Reverse, LaGuardia Loop, finishing with Watopia Figure 8. It's going to be a fun series. This is number 7. After this, there's only 5 more. So sad. I can't believe this is almost over. Okay, so Nick Hurd. Has he always been Cryogen? Or is he a new rider? Because we've seen Nick here a lot, but I don't remember seeing him with Cryogen. That would be great for Team Cryogen. Yeah, it looks like he just added Cryogen to his name. So big get for Cryogen. Nick Hurd, great rider, always shows up. Okay, so here they go. They're going to make a left turn, and then that is the uphill. And up ahead, if you look in this mini map, these yellow dots are D's. That's going to be a little tricky for some of these riders because you can't get stuck in this sticky draft. If you get sticky behind some of these riders, it's bad news. So you have to really pass with speed and with urgency. No matter what category these riders are, you can get sticky drafted behind them. So all these riders are going to pick it up right when they pass the D's because all of them are aware that you can get sticky drafted. A lot of the D riders are sometimes heavier. And wait, let me just talk about the D riders right now. because I think there are 11 freaking Cryogen D riders, which is unbelievable to have a team of 11 Cryogen riders, let alone D riders. So last week I think they had 7. This week they have 11 Ds, which is unbelievable for a D race. Okay, so that's the Ds. That's the Cryogen team. Big shout out to them. Moving back up, we saw the A's just fly by them. Absolute unleashed. They're all at 10.0. They're all at red numbers. Greg Leo once again on the front at 172 heart rate. So his heart rate's creeping up. It's been creeping up throughout the race. 172. I think he's going to let off a little bit. Gavin Hughes is still putting out red numbers, so this is the move he wants to make. He wants to make it. Once you get to the top of the hill, if you still see red, that's a serious move. But this pack is just still together, and they're going so fast. A lot of times, these little moves that the riders make on the front, they hurt themselves more than they hurt the other riders. So here's Gavin Hughes still putting out 6, whereas Nick Hurd is still just sitting at 3.0. So everyone else is recovering. You really have to gauge your efforts. This is the race where it's almost not worth it for those false moves, because you know it's really not going to stick. The chances are even more diminished on a race like this. Looking at the pack, I saw Henderson just fell off. Mills, BRT, he's doing everything he can to catch on. I think he's going to be okay. The Rocket is still good. We're good. Okay. All right, let's check the Bs. The Bs are probably going up that hill. Let's find my neighbor. Okay, here's my neighbor. They're just approaching this uphill now. Here's my neighbor. I think my neighbor is 188 heart rate. That's a little high. I'm a little worried going into the hill when your heart rate is that high. Chavez on the front, 190 heart rate, 5.6. That is a lot of watts. 12.1 for a B rider is obscene. So Wheel Sucker is really going for it. 198 heart rate. I don't care who you are. That's approaching the limit. He's still holding 4.4. He's giving it everything he has, but there's Rob Martell. I saw Rob. There's Chris Adlington. No one's really going with him. Let's see Wheel Sucker. Okay, so there are 2 riders, Wheel Sucker and Byler. Wheel Sucker is still cranking out 5.1. So these B riders, all their FTPs are below 4. So to still crank out 5 or even a high 4 after that effort, that's very great. Here's Patrick Wetstein. Give Patrick a ride on. There's Chris Adlington. So Chris might be the only innovation rider here, but I still see TFC, Dirt. There's Mark Worthington, BRT. Here's Lorenz from Kirkmeyer. So let's quickly look at these sprint numbers for these B riders. So the rider David Santos from the Portuguese team has the highest 15-second sprint. I think he's still in here. And then behind him, there's a bunch between 13 and 11.5. All of these riders have the sprint. No one really has a sprint way beyond the others besides one rider, Santos. Oh, who has a... So I'm not quite sure. But let's move up back to the A's. All right, clicking up. Oh, you know what? Let me just get back to me, and then I should be able to find these A riders. Okay, so here's Greg Leo. Heart rate's back down to 154. He was in the 170s earlier. Babbage, we've seen him comfortably in the back. 128 heart rate, really low. He must be very comfortable right now. The Rocket, 173 heart rate, kind of high, still under control. That was lap 3 of 6, so they only have 3 more laps to go. Daniel Larson looking phenomenal. He won the B race again last week. Okay, so there's Nick Hurd with a little 2-second gap. He's going at 160. Let's keep an eye on him. Let's see if anyone's going to go with him. This is a great point to go because after this little minus 1%, then it goes up about 2%. And that 2% is great because you can really accelerate. Here's Stefan at 4.8. Is Stefan gonna go? Babbage is there. Okay, there goes Greg Leo. So Greg Leo's gonna go for a break, or he's gonna close it. Let's see what he does. He's going 12.1. He's giving everything he's got for this. His heart rate didn't climb up too much, only 165. He just covered that move, and there goes Nick Hurt again with the 8.1. So that's probably a signal to Greg Leo that he wants this to stick. So Greg Leo's really got to respond with something to signify that he wants to go too. Otherwise, I think Nick's gonna let off. If Greg Leo's not gonna take a pull right now and just cover this move. So I'm just watching their numbers. Nick has really been the one pulling throughout this breakaway attempt. I want to see if Greg Leo's going to get in front of him to work together, because if they don't work together, this is a null move. Okay, so here's the Rocket at 9.0. So there's the Rocket. That's interesting to see him actually make a big move like that. But it looks like that might have been another effort to pass those C's without getting stickied in their draft. So let's keep moving up. There are... Oh, and that's exactly what happened to Babbage, it looks like. Now he's 3 seconds back, and he's going 5.3. His heart rate was in the 1-teens before, and now he's going 500 watts. And that's why you got to always stay alert, even when you're passing C's, is because you can get sticky behind them. So he's going to go into this hill with an extremely elevated heart rate. So he's going to go into this hill with well above 150, while all these other riders are fairly low. The Rocket's high at 180. Here's Pat McCran with 146, looking really smooth. All right, so down they go. They're going to go up number 4 for the 4th time of 6. Okay, so here they go. Here's Stefan, right at about 7.0, picking it up a bit. Hansen from Cryogen, 550 watts. Gajda from Draft on the front. Joliffe, no big moves really. If you can last this long, it's likely that you're going to be able to last for the rest of the race. Pollock from TFC. Pollock needs to get it into gear right now. The quicker he can close it, the quicker he can recover. And that's exactly what he does. He closes it almost immediately. 24 riders is down to. It does seem like we lose 1 or 2 riders every lap. So 24. We started at 35, and then it was 31, and now it's already down to 24. Okay, so those are the A's. That was the 4th time of 6. Let's click back to the... So these are the C's. I think that was the penultimate time they're going to go up that hill. We saw the C's get whittled down early in the race. And this is the 2nd C pack. So I wonder where the 1st C pack is. The A's are going to have to slice through another pack of C's. Okay, so here's the front pack of the C's. I'm a little confused that the C's are so far ahead of the 2nd pack. So this is going to probably be their last time up this hill for these C's. And this might even be a 2nd pack also. Yeah, so this is the front pack of the C's. Right here. And it looks like there's a couple A riders in here, and there are a couple B riders in this C pack. So I guess the smart drafters are going to win this C race overall. Alright, I want to find those Bs because the Bs are going up that hill. There's Chris Ads. Where was he? Okay, so here they go. Here are the Bs. This is the 4th out of 5 times for the Bs. Alright, up front is Har. We see Har charging up front every time up this incline. Okay, there's Har at 8.0, 500 watts. Okay, there's Rob Martel covering it quickly. My neighbor, Chavez. There's a couple TFC A riders mixed in here. Okay, 34 B riders left in the main pack. So 34 Bs, they're going to have one more lap, while the As are going to have 2 more laps, I believe. Yeah, so the Bs are going to go up that hill one more time, and there's still tons of them together. Still a ton of TFC, ton of dirt, ton of cryogen. Let me find the A's again. I just want to find the A's before we get to the B and C finish. So the C's are going to be tricky. Here's the A's. Here's the main A pack. They just went under the banner, which signifies 2 laps to go. Do a final count. Same 24 riders. Let's do some heart rate checks. The Rocket 166 looks comfortable. Joe Leaf 165. Gavin Hughes 130, quite low. Daniel Larson is making a move. Last week won the B race, and he's making a move. And Greg Leo covering all the moves today, and he backs off immediately to 100 watts to 180. So he's just covering moves. And there's Stefan Kirkmeyer, and Gavin Hughes is going to use that move to launch. So is he going to catch anyone off guard? Is anyone going to go with him? I don't know. Greg Leo's pulling back the entire group at 12.5. He was at 12, Stefan was at 2, but he was still in his draft. So once you pick it up, you have to make a clean break if you really want to separate yourself from the pack. And the Rocket is there in 5th wheel, holding on Stefan. Gavin Hughes is trying to make something work, but guys like Greg Leo, guys like Stefan, and even guys like the Rocket, they're shutting down everything today. But I see one red dot who is caught out. Shivens, possibly caught out. Tom Skivens from Team Belgium Zwift Riders. Ooh, I don't know. I can feel the momentum that he's carrying down this hill, and I think he's going to be able to do it. And I think he sees the Rocket. He's just got to get the Rocket, and then he's going to be able to catch on. He's kind of dying. I can feel the pain. 187 heart rate. He's got to give everything he can to get these 2 seconds back right now. So we're going to keep an eye on Skivens from Team BZR. Do I see a couple up front? I do. Gavin Hughes and Greg Leo again. But we haven't seen Greg Leo work with anyone. He's just sat on these wheels for these moves. So Gavin Hughes, 400 watts, 180 heart rate. That's basically... He can get up to 190, but that's in a sprint. So he's really, really giving it everything he's got right now. And it is a little incline. Greg Leo's really just holding his wheel. I want to see Greg Leo work with someone to make this break move. If anyone's going to cover it, it's probably going to be Stefan, because he knows he has Sanjath in this race, and Sanjath can probably outsprint any of these riders. So you can see 3 Kirkmeyer riders on the front. I don't think anyone is too worried, because this isn't the last lap. There's still one more lap after this lap. And they know a group of 22 riders versus a breakaway of 2, it's rarely going to work. Let's go back up front. Okay, so there's Greg Leo. He's spent. Gavin Hughes is going to have to do this alone. So there's Gavin Hughes. He's still going to give it everything he's got at 6.5 to stay away. Where did Greg Leo go? Because I didn't see his name on the list. Okay, so he's there. He's kind of dying right now. We can see his avatar just drifting back. He's probably going to catch the wheel of the pack when it comes by. But Gavin Hughes has 18 seconds, and he's still cranking 7.0 up this hill. He needs someone. He just can't do this alone. He's still got a full lap of the Classique, but this is a lot of time. I haven't seen time like this. Okay, so there's Greg Leo. He's going to jump back in this draft. He's just accelerating a little bit. There goes Daniel Larson. 6.8 though. This is good news for Gavin Hughes, who's just going through the roundabout. Again, Jorge is a lap back. Let me just click up before I lose everyone. Okay, Joliffe, Sanjath, he absolutely does not want to cover this. A couple other riders are mixed in, but I don't want to lose. So I want to find... So once they pass these other lapped riders, that's when we'll be able to see the time gap to Gavin Hughes. Here's Joliffe. Pollock's on the front. Just want to wait 9 seconds and then we'll see him, because I don't see... The red dot we see in front is the Portuguese rider. Gavin Hughes must be beyond that. Okay, so there he is right here. He already circled the U-turn. He's got time. This is real time. And I'm surprised Greg Leo didn't just stick with it and hold his wheel. He must have really been spent. All right, clicking up. Here's Pat McCran from Cryogen. Okay, there's Gavin Hughes, 24 seconds. Oh my God. Okay, so this is going to be pure pain and pure hell for Gavin Hughes for the next 8 minutes. He has to commit. 25 seconds is so much time. And this is a move that can really work. Even though he's solo, he's got 25 seconds. So he's got a TT for 8 minutes. So this is the Gavin Hughes TT show. For the next 8 minutes, he's got to do one lap of the London Classique as hard as he can. No holds barred. It's good that he's on Cryogen because there's so many Cryogen riders in this pack that don't have to do any work. So there's Joliffe, who's one. There is Nick Hurd, who's another. That's at least 2 out of the 20 who are absolutely not going to do any work. Okay, so here's Hansen. Oh, I think he's a third. So here's Hansen doing everything he can to slow down the pack. A good way to slow down the pack is get to the front and then crank out 0 watts, and it kind of can slow down, but it's very, very difficult to do. It's a high-level tactic you'll see sometimes in races, but it takes a lot of selflessness for your teammates. All right, let's click back up. 33 seconds. Oh my God, I can't believe this. This is going to be... This is the second best thing that could have happened, is a single solo breakaway behind the Greg Leo Sanjath showdown, because we're still going to get to see the showdown. But we also are seeing a 33-second solo breakaway. Gavin Hughes solo TTing 179, 180, 400 watts, giving it everything he's got. This is unbelievable. Let me check the live tab right now. Okay, so Gavin Hughes, he can go, let's quickly look at his numbers. So he can go 6.5 for 5 minutes. He's got about 6 minutes left, so he's got to get close to 6.0 for the next 6 minutes. If he can do 6.0 for the next 6 minutes with numbers like 3.7, 3.3 behind him, it can work. It can really work. Okay, so while this is going on, let's just jump quickly because the Bs are going to finish. So let's look to the Bs. Let's keep moving up. Okay, I think the Bs are on the final kick. Yeah, this is it. This is the final home stretch. There's 1K to go. I wonder if anyone's going to make a move. The names to look out for are Ads, Martell, Worthington. Is this a second pack? Neighbor. Okay, no. So this is the front pack. My neighbor is on the front at 190. There's no need to be on the front right now unless you're going for the win at 190. Martell, perfectly at 2.8. Bowen, he's another one. All of these guys can out sprint. Like I said, it's going to take a 1 minute effort. Once the carpet starts, you got to go with someone. You got to go with all the moves because the early move can win. Let's click on my neighbor. Okay, here's BK. A couple of these riders. Okay, let's see. I want to see who's going to be red first. Who's going to make the first move? Cordis from Foudre. It's a little early. Not enough watts to make a clean break. Here's Gould at 10.0. Otto at 13.6. Everyone's going with him. Everyone's making a move. There's Mark Worthington. Let's stick on Mark. Mark is on the front. Mark is in second place. Is anyone going to be able to catch Worthington? I see someone. Here comes Ads. Ads around the outside. Is it going to be Ads? Is it going to be Worthington? It might be Rob Martell. I think it was Martell, followed by Byler, followed by Worthington. I think it was Rob Martell. Our early shout out to Rob Martell. I think he nipped it out of the line. He timed it absolutely perfectly. I need to find Gavin Hughes right now because I'm so excited about Gavin Hughes. What is the gap? Before I look, I want to say 30 seconds. It needs to be 30 seconds for there to be a chance. Okay. 43 seconds. Oh my God, this race might be over. And he's at 6.3. He's TTing perfectly. He's going at 500 watts at 183 heart rate. Perfectly. Okay, if you just tuned in, we're watching Gavin Hughes' solo breakaway in the A race of the Team Celebration Series. He has 40 seconds on 20 A chasers right now. He's been time trialing this entire lap and a half of the London Classique. He made a move with Greg Leo, but Greg Leo didn't have anything left. He tried, he just couldn't hold the wheel of Gavin Hughes. So here we are, we've been watching Gavin Hughes for the last 3 minutes pull out a solo TT effort on the London Classique, which is almost impossible to solo TT on a flat course away from a group of 20. Not just 20 of the strongest riders on Zwift. 20 including Greg Leo, including Kirkmeyer, including Sanjath, including all of these guys who are the most experienced riders in the game. Gavin Hughes, 40 seconds. He's going up his final hill. Needs to give it everything he has. Red numbers. So he's able to put out red numbers after holding 6.0 for the past 4 minutes. Gavin Hughes, he's 185. According to Zwift Power, we're on his profile. His max heart rate is a low 190. So he's almost at his max heart rate. He can go 6.5 for 5 minutes. That's what we need. We need him to get in the 5s to make this work. I'm scared to click back because I'm scared to lose this race. Okay, so here they are. Ooh, they're closing in fast and hard. Someone's going to have to make a move right here at this hill if they want to win this race. Here's Dreisen, 850 watts. And there's Sanjath. Sanjath, he has to trust his team right now because he's the sprinter. He has to get in the pack and remain comfortably there. There's Joe Leaf. Joe Leaf is going to bring the watts down immediately because his teammate is up front. So there's Joe Leaf. He's going to let the guys pass him. There's Sanjath. Sanjath has to take Stefan Kirkmeyer's lead, and Kirkmeyer has to go for it, and he has to close this down single-handedly. If Stefan has anything left, I don't know, because he already raced the earlier race. He's got to close it. I don't know. Okay, so there are 20 riders here, and you can see the dot on the top right coming back. That red dot is the man himself, Gavin Hughes. We have to find him. 42 seconds. This is a victory lap for Gavin Hughes. In all my Zwift racing experience, this is one of the most beautiful moves I've ever seen. To single-handedly win on the London Classique and stay away for over a lap and a half with this kind of field, I mean, I'm almost speechless. He's held probably a high 5, a low 6 for the past 7 minutes. And he's just going to be able to cruise it in because no one sacrificed themselves to bring him back. We saw Greg Leo held his wheel for a little bit, but just didn't have anything left to stay there. And you can see Babbage going early, but that's 48 seconds. So our hats off to Gavin Hughes. Unbelievable win, unbelievable move. Really showed some guts today. My applause to Gavin Hughes. So I want to click off Gavin. He's in first place. He's going to win this. And this is going to be the showdown that we've been waiting to see also. So this is for second place. Greg Leo's going early at 8.0. This isn't quite enough. The Rocket's going to stay on his wheel perfectly at 5.2, 3.8. Where's Sanjath? Where's Kirkmeyer? Okay, here's Greg Leo, 178 heart rate. He's bringing it down to 0. Not exactly sure what that was. That's kind of disappointing. But there's Sanjath. Where's the 1500 watts? There's Sanjath. There's Kirkmeyer. They're going to go 1-2 in this race. So it's going to be Sanjath. Is it going to be Kirkmeyer? Yes, it's going to be Kirkmeyer, followed by Van Haren, Schultz, and Nick Hurd. Those are your top 6 because don't forget, Gavin Hughes was there and he creamed his entire field single-handedly. Thank you all for joining us. Awesome race. Awesome finish. That was race 7. We'll be back next week for race number 8. We're doing Watopia Hilly Reverse. I'm Sterny. I'm out. See you, boys.